bottom line is if somebody is interested in getting solar onto their home, you have an option for them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then what was the other piece you did? You and I had talked, he goes to, I don't know if you've ever seen Shane at Lifetime, but he goes to Lifetime with us. So one of the things.
Lifetime.
You'll see me at Lifetime. We go at different hours. You're probably still sleeping when I go.
Welcome to Stop Whining About Real Estate. Join us as we chat, sip, banter, and wine with the best in the biz. Grab a glass of your favorite vino, sit back, relax, and let's wine together. From knocking on doors to leading a $10 million solar team, he's Solar Shane. Shane Eslahi of Rack Solar is booming the solar division. Today, we unpack how agents, partnerships, door-to-door grit, and renewable energy redefine property value. Welcome to Stop Whining About Real Estate.
Afternoon, everybody. My name is Emmanuel St. Germain. I am your host of Stop Whining About Real Estate. Do you know I have to think about the name of the podcast sometimes? That's how bad it is.
That's not good.
I've got our co-host, Sarah Birnbaum, and we've got a good buddy of mine, Shane Eslahi, who is the regional sales owner, Rack Solar. He's everything solar. We're going to talk. You can correct your title in a second. But the biggest reason I wanted to have Shane on here is that Shane has been in the solar industry for a really long time, and some really great things have come out of it. Obviously, you're helping people save a lot of money. It's obviously great for the environment as well. And then I want to talk also about the big, beautiful bill that was just passed in a law and how that's negatively going to affect consumers regarding solar. So first and foremost, welcome to the show.
Shane's like, I'm excited to talk about that.
Awesome. Yeah, it's right now it's on everyone's minds, on every phone call that is, every meeting it's all tied together. So my name is Shane. I'm happy to be here. Thank you so much for inviting me. And then sales director for Rack Solar. I've been in the space for about 5 years, but I actually got into it because my wife has been in it about 10 years, and she's the managing partner for Rack Solar. So we started Rack Solar about a little over 3 years ago now, and we found rapid success because of our experience in the past, just taking it and repeating same processes. But it's a lot of people in the industry call it the solar coaster, because you can have your best day and your worst day on the same day. And it's not uncommon. And so even before all this big, beautiful bill stuff came about, there's ups and downs. And we use specialized lenders for solar. And, there's been a lot of turbulence in some of those lenders. And, before that was the interest rates. And, it's just a never-ending roller coaster of things that could happen in this industry. So, the big, beautiful bill came around, and, after being around for a while, it's like, okay, another obstacle, another challenge, another change. And so,
But let's break down because people don't know what is in the big, beautiful bill that has anything to do with, pertains, much better word. Thank you, Sarah. Pertains to solar.
Yeah. So the, in the last few years, since the Inflation Reduction Act, they actually increased the tax credits that you can get when you purchase solar. And this covers all the solar equipment, all the financing fees, all costs involved in putting the solar on your roof. You can take, since Inflation Reduction Act, 30% dollar for dollar credit on your total investment price. So with the big, beautiful bill, they're ending that at the end of this year for residential customers. And not even stepping down like it was planned to go for 10 years and then step down gradually and phase out. It's just ending at the end of this year. So now we're in a situation where people that, and this just passed, was just signed, last week. So, we're in a situation now where people are realizing that they need to kind of start now if they want to make sure that their project gets installed this year, because if it's not installed this year, they won't be eligible for that credit.
Most people, when they're buying solar, what percentage pay cash versus what percentage finance with you?
It's a different balance from company to company. From our personal business, it's actually a little bit higher on the cash end. We do close to 8 or 9% of our volume is cash. There's a big portion of it that is currently leasing, which in this new big beautiful bill, they've actually kept some of the incentives around for these big companies that are going to be doing the leasing, and they're phasing them out at the end of 2027. And so these big third parties that are out there, they'll actually pay for the solar system. The homeowner then pays them a monthly price. It's a lease agreement. In other states, they have what's called PPAs, which is power purchase agreements, a little bit different in the way that they work. But overall, third party is owning it. And so the incentives with this big, beautiful bill, the changes that they're making are directly affecting the residential customers. But they're still going to be able to give those incentives to these big third-party companies that are going to be doing leasing. So homeowners will still have the opportunity to go solar. They just won't have an opportunity to own it.
Got it. So just thought of something. I wish I had thought of it before to give you a heads up. Can I put you on the spot a little bit? Sarah owns a house. Without having all the exact numbers and details. What's the general basic pitch?
Cost.
Always sounds like, so when we're in sales, we use the term pitch, but I hate saying pitch when you're talking to someone who's a nurse or something like that, because they don't, for them, it's their livelihood, it's their life. It's like they feel like they're being sold, and that's not necessarily what, in our world, when we say a pitch, it simply means, the sales vernacular that we're going to use, the spiel, whatever you want to say.
I've actually heard that has a negative connotation also. Spiel is kind of like a made-up story, I think, sometimes in the definition of it. So there's actually a sales trainer out there. Give him a plug real quick. His name's Taylor McCarthy. He has a bunch of good words and bad words. And so he has a bunch of words that he replaces, and pitch is one of them. He said pitch is a football field. So he said you replaced it with presentation.
Well,
or tense,
You really went there.
But yeah, the presentation for any homeowner is, if you've got a good roof, and you're using electricity and don't plan on stopping the use of electricity at your home, right now your relationship with the utility company is like a rental agreement. They charge you a price per unit of electricity. Every year they change that price. They can raise it, they can lower it, but they always raise it, they never lower it. And
who owns, so where we are, I pay FPL, right? So that's Florida Power Light.
Right.
And who governs Florida Power Light? Are they a private company or are they a public company?
They're private.
Okay, so they're a private company, and how come they don't have any competition? Why don't I get a door knock from somebody else?
That's, it's like the last monopoly that we're dealing with. These they are a for-profit business, and it's the last one like this where they don't have any competition. In other states like Texas, it's deregulated. So there's multiple companies that you can choose from. I actually sold solar in Texas, went on what we call a blitz trip, where we went out for a week and just sold in the market for a week. And it was interesting because a lot of people there, they know exactly what they're paying per unit of electricity, which is a kilowatt hour. They know exactly what price they're paying because they shop it around. And they actually know, okay, my agreement is I'm locked into this price until the end of this year, and then I'm going to shop around for a new company.
Wow.
And when in Florida, you talk to a homeowner.
It's like homeowners insurance.
I was just going to say that, but then I thought of Florida. We don't have that many options. So it's
in Florida, there's no option. So most people never even look at the bill. They don't know what they're paying for, because when you buy a house, you just sign up for whatever utility company's there. You take the plan that they give you and put it on auto pay, and it goes where it goes.
100%. I couldn't tell you what I don't even know what it's called. What'd you say? It's a kilowatt per hour?
Kilowatt hour.
Kilowatt hour?
I know my total bill is per month because I have worked hard on getting it down.
Okay. So what have you done to get it to come down?
Well, very simply, in the last year, I used to have a lot more people in the house during the day.
She got rid of one of her. She got rid of one of her kids.
So there's no longer people in the house during the day. So the AC, I've adjusted with the AC, the scheduling on the AC, which has made a pretty big difference.
You have it set for different temperatures?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay, mine stays the same all day.
No.
I thought it was supposed to be better to stay the same all day.
So I've talked to 2 different AC people, and I've talked to the FP&L people, and they all have kind of agreed with each other, which I thought was pretty decent, that if you do change it, don't jack it up and jack it down all day long, but keep it on a pretty set schedule and do it when the sun is not beaming on it. So like my degrees will come down in the evening because I like to sleep with it cooler, but I'm not going to have the AC kick on at 5 o'clock to bring it from, say, 75 to 71. I'm going to do it at 8 o'clock when we have cooled down a little bit.
Do you concur?
It makes sense. I have a Nest thermostat at home, and now there's somebody at my house most of the time. I've got the opposite. So I had a kid, and my father-in-law comes to our house and watches him at our house all day. So when we first put our solar system in, I built the solar system thinking that our habits would be pretty similar, but I didn't think ahead. And so, more laundry, more people home, more dishes, more everything when you have a kid. So my usage is actually up higher than when I first put my system in. So I do sometimes get a small bill from FPL, but it's very minimal, considering. But
I've seen you present one time before in your tower, which I thought was really cool. If you have an overage, you can sell it back, something like that. Like talk.
Yeah, so in different markets, it's different. But here in Florida, we have, in FPL's land, we have what's called a 1-for-1 net metering. So during the day, if I create more power than I can use in the home, it'll overflow. It'll actually run the meter backwards, and I'll get full value credit for it, meaning they'll buy it from me at the same price I buy it from them. And so during the day, my house will overflow at certain times, runs my meter backwards, and I build up credits in the grid. And then at nighttime, when I'm not creating any power from the solar, I'll pull those credits back. And the idea is to get an even washout so that at the end of the day, at the end of the month, you're left with a zero balance, and therefore you just have to pay FPL for the connection fee, which is about $25-$30.
What do you think is preventing solar from being a larger percentage of homes? Cost?
So in your world, there's regulation that goes along with having the right to write up the paperwork to do what you do. You have to be licensed. You have to pass tests. They don't just I couldn't just go do your job.
Or Sarah, right?
So in solar, unfortunately, they just let anybody do it. And so with that, it's left a wake of homeowners over the past 3, 4, 5 years when we had this boom of people that are going. The utility rates have been going up. The incentives are high. When the interest rates were low a few years ago, it was nutty. There were many 18, 19-year-old kids that don't know really about finances at all, having these financial conversations with homeowners, and sometimes letting greed get in the way, and sometimes not even greed, just not knowing enough, and then undersizing systems and setting up the false expectations of what's going to come from the purchase of this solar system. And so you've got many people that say solar's a scam because my neighbor bought solar and it was supposed to get rid of their bill.
And they get a bill every
Their
month.
sales rep told them that they were not going to get a bill at all and that they were going to get a $10,000 check in the mail from the government. And neither one of those things is true. And so those types of homeowner experiences travel really fast and gives solar a very bad name. So this regulation where they're taking away this credit, it's definitely bad for homeowners because it's a great subsidy that's been able to give people a big chunk of money towards a bill that they're not going to cancel. But at the same time, it's brought in a lot of people that are chasing this easy sale or this high commission sale or whatever it is. And so this change in the market is just going to cause a lot of the bad actors and those people that are setting those bad stories, the negative stories about solar that are out there. I really think that this shift is going to eliminate a lot of those people.
Now, does it have to? So I live in a townhouse community. I don't really have a choice over my roof, right? So I'm not a potential client. But let's say if I was a potential client for that, with the big, beautiful bill, I hate calling it that too, by the way, because there's a bunch of dumb stuff in there. There has to be. Every bill, everybody throws all their pork in. Anyways, that being said, with what's happening, do you have to be complete with your install by the end of the year in order for us to count, or is it an order? Is it like so? I guess it would be like
in your world, if there's a new roof that's going to be
in my world,
house,
new construction. And we're not closing till June of next year. The rate that we have today doesn't matter. It's until then. So like in that sense, I get it. Or is it a one-time construction loan where we're closing today and I'm locking that loan in, even though the house isn't ready for the next year? How does it work on your world with respect to credits like that?
So it needs to be installed, and I'm still looking for clarity on if it needs to be started or if it needs to be in service, like PTO'd and completed with the utility. I still don't know exactly on that because it's different with the leasing. Like the changes they've made to the leasing market is under one tax code, and then the residential stuff is under another one, and they read very different. So I'll get some more clarity on that soon. But ultimately, it's based off the install, not the order.
Got it. What about businesses? Or like this building is a gigantic glass building, or in theory, like why wouldn't we build more stuff that is just day one has more solar stuff? Is it cost prohibitive?
Not necessarily. So in some situations, it doesn't make the greatest return on investment because certain types of utility, the easiest way for me to explain this is in some big cases, they have what's called demand charges. And so with residential homes, you have just the price per kilowatt hour, the base charge or your customer charge, and then taxes and fees on that. With these larger commercial projects, if they've got demand charges, the best way to explain what demand is, it's like if we were ordering water from the water company and your electricity is the water, it's like how big does the pipe need to be to bring the water to you? And so demand charges are if you need a lot of electricity at one point in time, then they're going to charge you these demand charges. And those demand charges they're not offset by what solar does for you. So solar can get rid of your kilowatt hour charges, but it doesn't get rid of those demand charges. It'll polish them up a little bit, but it doesn't get rid of them.
Got it.
And so commercial projects, I've met with some people, I just have to tell them, hey, your cost for this it's going to cost you more, even with all the incentives that are out there. It's going to cost you more to go solar than it would to just stick with what you have because there's such a large demand charge here and a lot of things that, they actually, like right now, residential customers are paying 15, 16 cents per kilowatt hour. With these large demand charges, you may only be paying 4 cents per kilowatt hour or 6 cents per kilowatt hour, and then getting the rest of your fee in a demand fee. And so for a lot of those, those types of businesses, it's not going to make a great ROI, but it'll still be a good ROA. It's just not going to be compared to others. So where, residential, you can look at, with very conservative inflation numbers, you're looking at 5 to 7 years return on investment. That's with this tax credit that's involved. You take the tax credit out, it's probably 10 years.
Okay. Are a lot of the consumers of what I would call, on the greener side? Are people doing it for financial reasons? People doing it more to conserve energy for the planet? Like, what's your avatar client?
Most people start looking into solar because they want to take control. They don't like the lack of control that they have with the utility company. Most of them end up doing it for savings and control. Energy independence is like the number one reason people start looking. But, I'd say a very small percentage of people are doing this for the greater good of the world on the residential side. Grid. What's that?
They don't want to depend on the grid.
Yeah, and that's more the control part of it. Yeah. There are a lot of bigger companies, though, like the bigger people like and I don't know, I can't speak, I don't know exactly what the motives of IKEA and Target and Home Depot and a lot of these other large corporations are, but they put massive systems on a lot of buildings throughout the United States. And I think that they did that, this is my speculation, more just to tell their clients, their vendors, their employees that they're doing something good. And so I think that's more of like a larger, bigger company kind of move is to go for the green image. But
so let's dumb it down for some of our audience. We would have what happens like let's call it for what it is. What happens if it's cloudy for a week? Mm-hmm. There's no sun.
You better hope you have some credits.
How does it work? I mean, it's a dumb, simple question, but
doesn't your electricity
you still have
back in?
FPL?
You're still on the grid,
okay.
And you can't disconnect completely from the grid here. And
Right.
if you're in other states, there's opportunity for that.
Does a cloud prevent it from hitting the solar, or is it like a tan where you can still
Ooh,
get a sunburn?
simple now.
Yeah, it's kind of like you can still get a sunburn when the clouds are out. You're still going to be producing, even when it's like overcast. I've looked at my system, even when it's like rainy out, and it's still producing.
Okay.
Obviously not as much, but let's just say it's completely dark. The sun decides to stop coming up for a week for whatever reason. You would rely on the grid. You would pull power from the grid. You would build up a bill. And then when sun comes back out, you can offset that bill with whatever's created.
Okay. Very cool. Why haven't you done solar on your house, Sarah?
That's a great question, Emmanuel.
I got a referral for you, Shane.
Yeah.
I actually had somebody come out to the house because I was looking at that when my efforts to reduce my overhead cost about a year ago. So 2 things. One, I'm going to need a new roof in about 3 years. And they let me know that they could take the panels off, but the brackets that they were going to be attached to is a whole nother project to take those off. And there is a decent size cost to that.
Mm-hmm.
So then the idea was to just go ahead and get my roof now so I could do the panels quicker. I am not in a position right now to do my roof, and I don't need one for a while. So, or not a while, but at least a handful of years. So I thought I would wait. Now, the part that you said, and that was just mine, because my house it faces north. The sun literally just travels over it all day, and it would be a perfect place to put it. It's manageable enough in size where I wouldn't need a bunch of panels, and it would run the pool and everything else that I need.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't know that you could lease them. So in the lease situation, would that be something that somebody that maybe needs a roof in 5-10 years, or they don't plan on living there for another 10-20 years, leasing them, is that more of an option for somebody that has some obstacle in the next handful of years that they would?
I only personally recommend the lease if you're not going to be eligible for the tax benefits.
Okay.
Because owning it's always going to pay off better. And even if you only plan on living there 5 years, it'll still pay off better. One thing is, though, a lot of the lease companies today, you can lease, and then when you sell your house, you have the option to purchase it and pay it off. And so you could do that, and then in your sale price, whatever their payoff amount is, add it to knock it out. Now, a new homeowner that buys your house doesn't have a utility bill. Well, they have a utility bill, they don't have a solar bill.
What about, have you guys approached or tried to do a deal with, I can't remember what the hell it's called, but they do it with hurricane impact windows and doors where they attach it to the property taxes so that it doesn't affect the consumer today. Now it does if they go to refinance, or when they go to pay their taxes every year, or if they're selling their property, but it's a way to help defer. What's that?
They're called PACE loans.
PACE, yes. Okay.
We have access to them.
Do you know what PACE stands for? Property something?
I don't know. I know that it's a loan designed for home improvements.
Yep.
That it does not rely on homeowners' income or credit level. It's based on solely the equity in the home. And so we've used them very sparingly because they have a pretty big level of responsibility with them. You've got a homeowner that, they own a $400,000, $500,000 home. They get a $30,000 loan for solar. If they default on this $30,000 loan, they're taking their house. So it's not, it relies, it takes a high level of responsibility, I would say. So we don't lead with them, but at the same time, even though they're designed for low income, that's really the way that they were advertised when they were, these loans are all about. But they actually have a lot of benefits for people that make more money. Like there's more tax benefit to you signing one of those loans than an unsecured loan.
Well, yeah, you have higher taxes. Yeah. You're a higher property tax, which you can write off. Mm-hmm. So all right. So I definitely like that for you guys. Tell me a little bit about, because obviously, I love the idea. I'm like, I got a buddy Shane, he's in the industry. How can I finance all these projects? And it's like not even close to our world. It doesn't work. They're different institutions. Mm-hmm. But what is the leasing like? What kind of so is it? So there's two different things. So when you lease a car,
and I think there's financing it.
When you lease a car, you have what's called a money factor, and then you actually have an interest rate that you're borrowing against, right? So in the solar world, leasing versus buying and financing, because there's two options that you guys offer through it's not your company. You're using banks like I would sell to a bank.
Oh, we
right?
have a lot of different options. We have various different lease options, various different loan options, and 3 different PACE options, actually.
Okay. So there's all sorts of options. The bottom line is if somebody is interested in getting solar onto their home, you have an option for them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then what was the other piece you did? You and I had talked, he goes to, I don't know if you've ever seen Shane at Lifetime, but he goes to Lifetime with us. So one of the things.
Lifetime.
You'll see me at Lifetime. We go at different hours. You're probably still sleeping when I go.
I'm there before you.
No, she
I
is.
was going to say,
She's there
before you.
I'm there at 6 a.m.
I am back in the gym. I took a little hiatus, nursed some injuries, got myself back ready to go. Here we are. So, no, in all seriousness, we were talking about how it's when exactly her situation, when a roof only has a certain amount of years of economic life, you told me yourself, you don't recommend it, right?
So
is there a number?
In this situation where there's a 30% tax incentive ending at the end of this year.
Well, fair enough.
What I would recommend to you is I build your system and I either factor in the cost that it's going to take to remove and reinstall the panels and put it all in on the front end. So that way, when it comes time, you're covered in a few years.
And I get the credit on top of that.
You would then get the credit on top of that because it would be baked into the project. It would be part of the solar cost. And then that way, it's all covered. And that would be a really good option. Or I could probably make a pretty strong argument that you should do your roof now instead of 3 years from now. And so, but there's so many different ways you can go. But I definitely would. The money you'd save in doing your solar now versus doing it next year would pay for the removal and the reinstall. Like you said, you can reuse a lot of different parts, but you have to replace the attachment point, like where it's actually attaching to the roof. What kind of roof do you have? Is it tile?
Yeah.
One that sits on top of the house.
Does it look like hard stones or does it look like?
It's like the peach brown.
Yeah.
Every Florida house.
Yeah. Tile roof.
My house was built in 1979 and it's in Boca and it looks like, I don't know, it looks like everybody
It's
else's.
amazing the year you were born.
I was born in the 80s, sweetheart.
Nice try.
I was.
All right. So any last points you want to make?
Shane's like, I'm going to come to your house tomorrow and I'm going to sell you solar.
I need a recent copy of your utility bill. I promise you it's worth the 20 minutes. If it doesn't make sense, that's fine. I wish you the best, but I'm pretty sure that you'd want to meet with me.
Sitting at 2:30.
Listen, if solar doesn't work out, get your loan officer license. It's identical to refinancing the pitch. It's the exact same concept. Like we can tell you in 2 seconds. Well, it doesn't. Actually, I invested in technology. Did you ever look at the options?
Yeah, I looked at it.
All right. So I just want to. So we'll talk off air because I want to know if you like the technology because the technology, the concept.
Are you going to refinance?
No,
it doesn't make sense yet. But the idea was simply to see if this technology works well because when rates drop, we can mass produce those to lots of consumers, as opposed to imagine a $20,000 credit comes out and it's good for 2 months only. You get bombarded with demand. You don't have the people, the resources, whatever, to do enough quotes or whatever it is. So for us, it's the same thing. So, but my point is that the sales skills that is very similar. It's I'm going to look at something that you currently have. I'm going to show you the cost benefit analysis, and then you can make an educated decision whether you want. But anyways, awesome. Shane, if anybody is interested in finding out more about solar, how can they get a hold of you?
Yeah.
And taking advantage of this credit before it runs out.
You can go onto our website, racksolar.com, and put in your information, and we'll get information back to you really quick.
All right. So racksolar.com. We'll make sure to put that on the show notes. Thank you very much for being a guest on the show today, and have a great day, everybody.
Thank you again.
Shane.
Appreciate it.
Okay, that's enough whining for one day. We are so happy that you could join us today on Stop Whining About Real Estate. So please, not only listen, but subscribe, follow us, download, share, and if you're feeling it, give us a 5-star review. Hey, and if you'd like to be a guest on the show, please email stopwhining@choicemortgage.com. Thanks so much.